Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time on a Monday night. Hope everybody's off to a great start this week. Got a lot to discuss regarding the Tennessee Titans. Mike Vrabel spoke to the media today, specifically to the second half struggles that they're having rather, and that they are looking to kind of address. So at this point, we will go through those. You'll hear from Bud Dupree as well, who had his own thoughts on the situation. And obviously, given the news today regarding Mississippi State head coach Mike Leach, I wanted to touch on that quickly at the end as he looks to try and make a recovery from a very, very scary sounding situation. Before we get off and rolling this evening, I need you guys to share this show on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. If you're hanging out with us on Twitter tonight, please retweet the show in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. If you are on Facebook Live, you can share now to public. That's how you do it in the bottom left, like Karen O'Keefe or Michael Webb. If you are on YouTube or on Twitch, like Stephen King or William Jones, throw a like on the video if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Tell a friend to do the same, and we will enjoy our conversations here Sunday through Thursday night. Donald Red says, let me guess, the second half struggles are entirely the players' fault, not the coaching. Well, we'll just have to stick around and we'll work our way through that ourselves. Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time on a Monday night from the Superbook Sports Studios. I'm your host, Buck Rising, and I am proud, as always, to be presented to you by the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. GaryAshton.com is where you go for your dream address without the stress. Get the intel edge you need to succeed at GaryAshton.com. Superbook Sports, your place to wager on Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, all the games on Sundays, and every major sport in between. Superbook.com for terms and conditions. TrueMav Fitness in the Gulch. Get your fitness journey started. Don't wait until the first of the year. Go ahead and get that underway right now and do it in a fun and fantastic environment like TrueMavFitness.com, where your first workout is free. And Two Rivers Ford, 2023 model year Fords in stock and available now. Go to tworiversford.com to start the buying process online and custom order your next Ford from Two Rivers Ford. So, as we talk about the Tennessee Titans, there's a couple of different things that this team is struggling with. First and foremost, now I didn't hear this live, but for those of you who listen to Titans radio, Rhett Bryan, who's the executive producer and game day host, Rhett, who Jim Wyatt and I do our pregame Titans Insider hits with for Titans radio about 15 minutes before kick. Rhett emailed me and emailed everybody else who works at the radio station at 104.5 The Zone, where we do our show and where Mike Vrabel has his radio show on Monday nights. Per Vrabel, he will not make any coaching changes this season, in-season evaluations at the end of the season. This will probably spur a phone call or two to all the shows. That is Rhett Bryan. So I have not heard this audio yet myself, and I'm going to send it to Reed. I don't know, Reed, if there's a way to put this into the system so we can play it for people. I don't know how that works with audio recordings. I mean, I guess I theoretically could just hold it up to the microphone and play it ourselves. Reed is going to endeavor to try and do that a little more professionally, and then at worst case scenario, we'll see how that goes. John Bob says Vrabel also said that AJ wouldn't be traded. LOL. That's true, but here's the thing. Mike didn't have roster control. Mike does have control over his coaching staff. So I think that those two situations are very different, because one is directly under Mike Vrabel's control and the other is not. But we will continue to keep an eye on that, and obviously that will lead to discussion. Like I said, I haven't heard it myself, so we'll see if we can't play that. But beyond the offensive coordinator, because the offensive coordinator is going to be a talking point, what is the thing that's bogging this Titans team down in the second half? It's really been weird to watch. Their second half struggles are evident on both sides of the ball. Now, defensively, they really started to fade pretty early on. Now, they were put in some unenviable field position situations. The turnovers that the offense gave away was a real problem for the Titans throughout the course of this. 20 of the 36 points scored off turnovers 4 turnovers by the Titans yesterday. So now, as you look through these different things, with the second half struggles, because it's on both sides of the ball, what do you most attribute those issues to? Let's start there. It's your Two Rivers Ford take this evening. Where do you look at the Tennessee Titans and say, okay, these are the struggles that they're having. This is what's causing them to truly not succeed in the second half. What do you think is the Titans' biggest problem, biggest reason for the second half struggles in these games? We'll talk about it together on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch. It is your Two Rivers Ford take. As I said, it is presented by Two Rivers Ford. We'll tell you that here in just a second. Let's see. Poor adjustment, says Donald Red. Danny Whitson says, I wouldn't know who to fire at this point nor release. Well, you seem to be the only one, Danny. It seems like everybody has a name that they want to fire at this point. Uninspired is how John Bopst describes them. They think they have the division locked up and put it on cruise, but they forgot to take the parking brake off. I don't think that's true. I just think they're kind of a shitty football team at this point in time. Like I don't think they're on cruise control. I think they're actively trying. They came out in the first half and looked like they normally do, and then they gave it away because they're not a good football team. So I think you're giving them more credit than they deserve at this point. As you look at these different things, there's a variety of different stuff that I think you can attribute to, but we will talk about that right after I tell you that Two Rivers Ford makes your Two Rivers Ford take possible each and every night. They have 2023 model year Fords available right now at the dealership, and they will make sure that you enjoy the car buying process. They make it fast, easy, and fun. Two Rivers Ford is where you go for award-winning customer service and quality American-made Ford vehicles, Explorers, F-150s, Escapes, and Edges, all available for you in every color with any number of trims and customizable features. Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com. So, what's most bogging them down? Marlo Pointer says turnovers, bad penalties, questionable play calling. That's a variety of different things. And so, yes, the answer to all of those things is yes. Now, there's a difference between how the defense is looking at things and how the offense is looking at things. Let's first start with Bud Dupree, who spoke to the defensive side of the struggles that the Titans are currently having.
But you guys sit in that meeting room during the week, and this is a team that kind of built their identity for the past couple of years on affecting the quarterback, and recently that's been a struggle. What do you personally attribute that to? Is it a personnel issue? Do you think it's teams adjusting to be able to counter what y'all are doing? Where do you think the answers are with affecting the quarterback?
Yeah, man, it's adjustment. We still doing the same moves, still doing the same calls. Quarterback's not going to just let you sit right there and hit them all day. So
right.
They're going to have checkdowns. They're going to have quick throws and quick reads. And if the first read, they're going to try to go to it each and every time. So, knowing that and being able to identify that, we have to come in with a different mindset to know that we got to win faster. We used to win in 2.5 seconds. Now we got to win in 1.5 seconds. And there's just no excuse.
Do you think the guys you have out there, or maybe the guys that aren't out there, are affecting that? Is it a struggle with who you have available to help out?
Yeah, man. Once Nico gets back, man, it's gonna be it's a big attribute. Nico is a big attribute.
Have you spoken to him at all recently?
Nah, not recently. But just the same thing. But you got to look at it like this too. The same point of if they continue to throw the ball fast, it ain't really matter who out there at the end of the day. So we can have Jason Taylor out there, and it won't even matter. So we gotta continue the grind.
Thank you.
So that's Danico Autry. And what Danico's alleging is, they're kind of just doing the same thing from one half to another, implying that there's a lack of adjustment in terms of both on the execution of things and how they're going about it. The same calls is what he said, right? So that, I don't know how much changing up the calls is going to help them get to the quarterback, because it seems like the injuries. I'm sorry. Did I say Danico Autry? I meant Bud Dupree. I heard Easton say, I heard Easton say, have you spoken to Nico Autry? And they were talking about Danico Autry. I got caught up. My bad. I know it's Bud. So as you look at the situation for the Titans defense, are they really able to change things up? Like, they don't typically blitz a lot, so maybe that's what he's talking about. There's not a real, and I don't have the answer to this. I don't know what their call sheet looks like on a regular basis. So as far as what their pressure situation is, I know they don't send additional rushers very often. I know they tried a couple of things this last week. Amani Hooker just flat whiffed on a sack. He had Trevor Lawrence dead to rights, couldn't wrap him up. Trevor Lawrence shook him, and then went out there and made a play. Right, made a play with his legs. There's so much there that I think you can kind of parse through, but I think at its core, they're not getting to the quarterback effectively, and the lack of changing up the calls. They can't really change up the calls without putting themselves in difficult positions from a coverage standpoint. I think they're hoping that they can continue to get pressure largely with four, and that hasn't been the case thus far. So let's A to Z Sports Prime Time is presented by Superbook Sports. That's where you go to get in on all the action. Superbook.com is where you go for the best odds boosts and promo bets on all your favorite sports. You can download the app today. If you are a Tennessee resident, they have specific odds boosts and promo bets for your favorite teams. Superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789. So that's Bud Dupree. Now let's hear from Mike Vrabel about the situation for the offense in the second half of games. What's causing them to have these sputtering starts? This was the head coach who spoke earlier today.
Quarter. Is that a failure to adjust coming out of halftime? What's going wrong with the plan?
We had some egregious penalties and mistakes. So, I mean, it's 1st and 22. Give up a sack, and 3rd and 27, and we don't block for a screen that nobody's going to convert, but hopefully we can help the punt team and get the screen started so then we can use our punter to maybe change field position.
But overall for the season on 10 3 and outs?
Evaluating, everything. It's execution. It's our ability to coach them and make sure that the details are fixed, and it's just not one thing.
Dylan.
So that is Mike Vrabel speaking to the offense. Now, I'm sure most people watching that did not appreciate the smirk and whatnot when he's talking about the offensive futility, but he's saying, yeah, it's impossible to get things done when we have these egregious penalties that they have. And the operational penalties, it's a really damning thing for them at this point. Touchdown Cardinals, by the way. James Conner just scored on a 10-yard run to put the Cardinals, minus Kyler Murray, who it looked like had, non-contact injury on grass, not turf. I know it's indoors, but it's not turf in Arizona. Really unfortunate to see, but the Cardinals have just pulled ahead. Anyway, so the situation for the Titans, their penalty situation is really bad this year, and it's from an operational standpoint. It's false starts. It's hands to the face. It's they have to take timeouts because they have 10 men on the field or 12 men on the field in certain situations. That was a defensive one. So it's not just the offense that's having those issues, but the offense is having a lot of operational penalties. A screen to Swaim ever is stupid, says Jonathan Caverly. Well, Swaim, by the way, his snap count is decreasing every week. So you're getting what you want as far as that's concerned. And certainly Chig and Hooper have shown that to be the case and shown that to be beneficial. The offensive line, the penalties, they're killer. And the offensive line isn't very good anyway. So, holding, false starts, as we mentioned, the kind of stuff, the kind of stuff that gets you killed, it keeps happening because they give up a lot of sacks anyway, but the holding penalties are just as good as sacks with those 10 yards of penalty or those 10 penalty yards that you do accrue. So let's talk about this Titans team from a different standpoint here on A to Z Sports Prime Time. Very, a little, not at all. How confident are you that the Titans will get things turned around? quote unquote, before the playoffs. So what does turned around mean? Do you think they will rectify their inability to get to the quarterback? Do you think that the offense will have some kind of sustained continuity that you think they can figure out based on what they have? Very a little or not at all. How confident are you that the Titans will get things turned around before the postseason? We will talk about these things together right after I remind you that A to Z Sports Prime Time is made possible by the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. GaryAshton.com is where you go for your dream address without the stress. The Ashton team will give you the intel edge you need to succeed. They are the best in the business without question. They're the official real estate agent of the Nashville Predators and the #1 RE/MAX team in the entire world. That's a thing. GaryAshton.com is how you win the buyer battle, cash in on your home equity now, and sell your home for more if you are in the market to do so. So trust the team that your favorite teams trust. Go to GaryAshton.com. So how confident are you that the Titans can turn this thing around? Now, producer Reed tells me that we now have a Mike Vrabel clip from the Mike Vrabel show on my radio station. Well, the radio station that I work for is not my radio station. I'll own the radio station. But the radio station that I do my show from also carries the Mike Vrabel show on Monday nights. And as far as getting things turned around, this is something that a lot of people are invested in seeing as what they think will help spur a turnaround, which is the offensive coordinator situation. This was Mike Vrabel not 2 hours ago.
Another Twitter question. You said in a recent press conference that you're open to the idea of things that need to be made in terms to improve the team. So where are you currently in the idea of organization changes, coaching changes?
We're not going to make any coaching changes during the season. You know, those are things that I evaluate at the end of the season. I see what's being taught. I have the luxury of going into each and every room. I hear what's being coached. I hear the details. I hear the design of each and every play. So that's not something that I'm going to be doing right now. But again, we'll evaluate everything at the end of the season, and go from there.
So, as far as a coaching change turnaround, that's not happening in the season. I don't, and I expect that to apply. By the way, I don't think he just means in terms of firing. I don't think they're gonna make Tim Kelly the play caller in the middle or at the end of the year, right? That's just not where they are right now. I think that the situation for the Titans and a turnaround potentially this point relies more upon improved health than it does anything else, but that's not necessarily a guarantee. Major Keys says, shitting me. If we lose next week or against the Texans because they almost beat the Cowboys, so it's possible there will be one in the season. I don't think that that's true. It would have to take something non-football related to get Todd Downing fired. And he already had something not football related that didn't get him fired. It was a DUI. And I know that's still an ongoing legal situation, but come on, guys. That he's not going to get fired for football reasons in season. We'll see what happens at the end of the season. And Mike Vrabel, as he said, will use the full scope of the body of work to evaluate and make a decision. And his decision making will be very telling this offseason, I do think. Sean Rasul says, you hear this and that Vrabel, but why don't you actually see what is happening in front of your eyes? Who are you talking to, Sean? You hear this and that? Oh, you're talking to Vrabel. You just didn't use commas to distinguish who you're talking to. You hear this and that, Vrabel, but why don't you actually see what is happening in front of your eyes? Well, obviously he does. I mean, it's not, he's standing there, he's watching this, he's watching it more times through than you or I are. You or I am. Yes, I am. Speaking of grammatical incorrectness. Yeah, that's a situation that, he's very, very much attuned to. Like I said, so for example, roster stuff. There's all kinds of names getting released and none of them are Dennis Daly, right? He's going to continue to be your left tackle. They're telling you everything you need to know. Mike Vrabel reviews the film each and every week. he reviews it multiple times throughout the course of the week and throughout the course of the season. And Todd Downing still has a job. So, like, I don't know how many times they've got to tell you guys that this is the way that they're going to move forward, but this is the way that they're going to move forward. And whether you choose to accept that and try and wrap your head around it, it's entirely up to you. But that's kind of the way that things stand right now. Amy making executive decisions, says Ken Posey. Yeah, but this is not an executive decision. This is a coaching decision. Now, could she theoretically step in and say, yes, this is my executive decision for you to relieve the play caller of his duties in real time? She could do that. She's not going to do that because Mike Vrabel's the biggest asset that she has right now, and she can't afford to piss him off or make him think this is a situation that's going to be untenable to work for an owner like Amy Adams Strunk. She's not going to jack with Mike Vrabel's stuff in the way that she just jacked with John Robinson stuff. So, something to keep in mind. So let's it's a bit of a somber transition here with the Mike Leach situation, but I did want to make mention of that given the news being reported today. So we're just going to talk about Mike Leach's circumstance quickly. For those, I know a lot of you guys are SEC football fans, and obviously he's a big character in the SEC. I wanted to mention that quickly. I'll tell you that A to Z Sports Prime Time is made possible by TrueMath Fitness. In the Gulch, your first workout is free when you go to TrueMathFitness.com as a Middle Tennessee resident. You can take any of their group classes. Tuesdays, for example, upper body with a focus on core. That's something that we could all stand to do a little work on, and TrueMath Fitness will help get you right. I told you earlier, I am down 42 pounds. 32 pounds is how much I am down at. No. Yeah, my math is good. 42 pounds. 42 pounds. We're killing it. Okay. Sorry. Had to do that in real time. Either way, TrueMath Fitness has helped me achieve those weight loss goals. Now, it's not just about weight loss. It's about improving your physical fitness, whether it's just things you want to do on your day-to-day. You're running out of breath playing with your kids. You're out there winded on the golf course. Whatever the case may be, TrueMath Fitness will help get you in the right frame of mind to continue to lead a healthy lifestyle and develop good habits. TrueMathFitness.com for any level of their membership options. So, Sean says, Buck, do you think Vrabel actually acknowledges the poor play calling, or is he blind to what my previous comment was in relation to? Well, I don't think either of those things are so. I think that Mike Vrabel probably looks at it and says, yeah, we don't have players right now. So if I'm going to make an honest evaluation of the coaching, then it needs to be when there's a healthier roster. Which, by the way, is entirely fair to Todd Downing. Now, you may think that I didn't think Todd Downing called a good game yesterday. You can take those on individual sample sizes and evaluate it, and that will be done because there's only one game a week, and Todd Downing is already going to be hyper scrutinized. But yeah, I think it's a Shane Bowen situation. Like, they're not total parallels, but they're very similar. Mike's going to come back and say, yeah, did you have the players to run the full scope of our offense that we think needs to be run? He's probably going to look at that and say, no. I don't know that Todd Downing keeps his job next year, but I know that Mike Vrabel is going to be realistic about the situation that Todd Downing has in front of him. And if he thinks he can do better with a play caller on top of all these different things, then, he'll make a change. And if not, that will be everything you need to know about the personnel discussions moving forward. This is the second season of Downing, says Giles. Yeah, and that doesn't matter if you're just as injured last year as you were this year. Like, it's the exact same thing. I'm not saying that Todd Downing deserves to keep his job. I'm not even saying that at all. But I would because I remember doing this show with Zach Bingham and Zach losing his mind when I said, Zach, Shane Bowen's not only is he not going anywhere, they're going to promote him to full-time defensive coordinator. And that's exactly what they did. Now, I'm not saying that's just because, I'm not saying it happened because I said so, but because I was talking to people in the organization and said, yeah, he's not getting rid of Shane. He doesn't think it's a Shane problem. And so they retooled the defense. They got a lot better. And the defense has, been fine until recently when they just run out of bodies to throw out there. So while they are parallel to a degree, they're not entirely similar situations. But I think that I think if at the end of the season I started talking to people and I heard that Todd Downing was likely to keep his job for another season, I would not be surprised, and neither should you. Neither should you. Not at all. TJ says you seriously underestimate how much Schwartz is involved. No, why would you think that? I've not said anything to the effect of Schwartz not being involved. What just because we're not talking about him as the coordinator? I don't. What allegations? That doesn't make any sense. We haven't even talked about Jim Schwartz. I'm talking about Shane Bowen. And yeah, Jim Schwartz being here helps, but Tim Kelly was supposed to help Todd Downing. And guess who's still on the offensive coaching staff and who is the passing game coordinator of the 30th ranked passing offense in football? That is Tim Kelly. So you tell me what the solution is. We'll see. The Todd Downing, Ryan Tannehill trashing every night is tiresome. Nothing is changing, so why keep talking about it? And because it's what people want to talk about. Like, you think I enjoy having the same conversation for 3 months? No, I'm bored with it. Like, I just think I'm entirely bored with it. And I can only say so many times, yeah, it's not changing. It's not changing. It's not changing. It's not changing. Oh, we got a DUI. It might change. Nope, not changing. They fired the GM anyway. What are you going to do? So, I can only have the conversation that people want to have, and people want to talk about this, and that's fine. And so I'll just continue to have the same conversation until new information becomes available. All right, let's keep it moving. So Coach Mike Leach suffered a heart attack a couple of days ago, and deeply unfortunate the situation for him. He has been hospitalized, and he is in critical condition at this point. And I just wanted to make mention of this because I know a lot of you are SEC fans. Mississippi State released a statement saying that Mike Leach remains in critical condition at the University of Mississippi Medical Center in Jackson. Mike's family is with him and appreciates the overwhelming expressions of love and support for the coach, but also requests that the family's privacy be respected at this time. That is the extent of information that MSU has available regarding Coach Leach's condition, and the university will make no other comment at this time. MSU will issue additional information via social media when it becomes available. Now, you had Bill Snyder, the former Kansas State coach, tweeting, I assume accidentally, that Coach Leach has passed. That tweet has since been deleted, and that news has not been updated. But it made me, I love Mike Leach as a character, and everybody that I talk to really enjoys their time around him. So I just wanted to, say something to the effect of, keep Mike Leach and his family in your thoughts, and let's enjoy a little Mike Leach press conference clip to end the show tonight. See you guys tomorrow night on A to Z Sports Primetime.
Yeah, I don't remember when I did that article, but I did have a pet raccoon. I would like to have a pet raccoon again. It's tough if you travel. They're quite a bit more maintenance free than you would think. They do like shiny objects. I kind of would like to have a pet raccoon again, but bouncing around the country, it makes it tough. And then you just, there's the time when they hit kind of raccoon teenage years, and it's time for them to head off and into the sunset. But no, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and in some ways, every bit as maintenance free as